Hi everyone, Clench the Knee Teeth Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Pierre Bourne project, The Life of Pierre 5. This is the latest full-length LP from in-demand producer, rapper, and singer, as well as songwriter Pierre Bourne, who we have talked about on the channel before between his production for Playboi Carti, his own solo material. Any hip-hop fan that's paying attention to current trends is well familiar with Pierre's minimalist, subtly psychedelic trap style. And personally, I have nothing but respect for his consistent grind, always putting out material with other artists, as well as continuing to build his own profile as a solo artist, which I don't blame him for trying to do. Not to shit on anybody, but a lot of the artists getting famous off of Pierre's production are a little more style over substance. So why couldn't Pierre hit his own beats with similar flows and inflections and vibes and see a greater benefit off of it? Now, Pierre's breakout attempt at that was the 2019 record The Life of Pierre 4, which in my opinion was mediocre on all fronts. Not only did this project feature a pretty weak crop of beats, but Pierre's vocals left a lot to be desired. Just nothing in terms of personality, charisma, basically anything that would make them appealing. But I guess The Life of Pierre 5 is a slightly different story. It's not a night and day difference from 4, but I can tell he's putting in a bit more effort on the vocal front, trying to put more thought into his lyrical content too, especially on tracks like Couch as well as YNS, where he's kind of going into his own personal backstory. He actually presents his voice in a more raw state as well, not quite as heavy with effects. Still though, even when that is the case, I feel more like I'm hearing Pierre, I'm hearing him, which I think is a nice change of pace, kind of finding balance with that. However, The Life of Pierre 5 I still found to be far from a perfect project or even a great one, as many of the tracks here, instead of being plagued by 3 or 4 huge problems that last throughout the entire LP, maybe just like some specific ones. Like, for example, the track Switching Lanes, which has a great opening verse from Pierre, good vibe, awesome production, but then also features the worst appearance that I've ever heard Playboi Carti have on anyone's song, ever. It's so awkward and spaced out, and why does the recording kind of sound like crap? There are some vocal mixing issues on the track Sauce Boy with Lil Uzi Vert too, where Uzi's voice for some reason sounds 2 times louder than the beat. Hulu easily walks away with the award for most boring vocal performance across the entire record. Then 42 has some fire production with these sparkling fuzzy synth layers, but then Pierre struggles to stay on beat with this one for some reason. I feel somewhat similar about the song Amen, which has some really cute, endearing synth passages, loving the nostalgic tone and vibe of the track overall, but why does Pierre struggle to find the rhythm here? The worst offender on this front, though, is probably the track Butterfly. I wonder if Pierre even had headphones on when spitting over this track. Then there's the matter of some of the song lengths here. For trippy, repetitious trap music like this, I think 4 to 5 minutes is just a bit much to ask for, especially since these songs don't really feature a whole lot in the way of variations outside of like a beat switch at the very end that brings us into the next song. By the time we're hitting that like 3-minute and 30-second, that 4-minute mark, Pierre has pretty much staled out everything the track has to offer, from the flow to the vocal melody to the beat. And this is even the case for some of my favorite tracks here, like Practice or 40 Clip. Keep in mind, none of this goes so far that it makes most of this record unlistenable or like the worst I've heard this year. Much of the time, T-Lop 5 is most certainly a vibe, but while the ambiance of this record is certainly an improvement on its predecessor, there's little to nothing in terms of content here or songwriting that makes this foreground listening for me. Sure, the production this time around is a bit more interesting. Pierre does take care to put more of his personal story into some of these tracks, but I still think he has a ways to go before he's really killing it on the vocal end, on the rapping end of things. Feeling a light to decent 5 on this one. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Pierre Bourne, forever.